Well, joining us now to speak in depth about the situation in Mindanao is the presidential advisor on the peace processes, retired General Hermogenes Esperon. We thank you very much indeed for sparing the time. General Esperon, the situation in the MILF-dominated areas of Mindanao is serious and is potentially graver still. But 8 weeks ago, it seemed that we were on the verge of actually reaching some kind of agreement after 11 years of negotiations.
That's correct.
What happened?
They say we were on the brink of peace, but now some say it's we are on the brink of war. But it's not really that. We are having some operations, which we would call law enforcement operations by the armed forces of the Philippines, following some incidents which were perpetrated by some commanders of the MILF when they attacked several towns in a province, resulting to the death of innocent, helpless civilians. And so we had to enforce the law.
But let's take a look at what apparently triggered the violence. There were complaints brought by local officials in that region to the Supreme Court of the Philippines. They were worried about what was contained in a memorandum of agreement on ancestral domain, worried that Philippine sovereignty was being sold out by the negotiations that you oversaw. Why didn't you realize that this might happen?
We have an agreement that was about to be signed, and there are constituents or some interested parties who went to the court to petition its for an injunction on the agreement itself.
Let me ask you though, if you stand by the memorandum of agreement that you negotiated, are the terms in it still the terms that could lead to actual peace?
We are not setting them aside totally. They could be our reference points, but for now, we will not be signing the memorandum of agreement.
But it's been preempted. Let me read you some of the comments that have been quoted in the local media. They say things like, the era of peace talks is over. Peace is lost. The government is undoing what has been achieved in 11 years of negotiations. Is this right?
It's not really government itself that has that should be put to blame for this. We have stood by the MILF. We have talked with them. We reached this point. In fact, we were about to sign it, but when there was an injunction from the Supreme Court, they reacted that way. Meaning, how could you now continue talking to a group when it would look like there's a gun pointed at you?
What do you see as the way forward from here?
We have dissolved the peace panel, but that is because we think that the peace panel has there's no more reason for its existence, since they had been talking about ancestral domain, but now we have shifted the paradigm of the peace process by going to the communities themselves and not just talking to the armed groups.
Can you explain the paradigm?
Well, it will now involve authentic consultations and dialogues with the communities, so that these communities will realize that armed struggle, the use of arms, is no way to realize goals and aspirations. On the other hand, if we have to talk to the armed group or the MILF, then we have to talk about DDR or disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration.
So all of that is over. In other words, the comment that I just quoted, that the peace process is lost, it's true.
Not really. We have not. We still have the security arrangements. We still have the rehabilitation and economic developments. We are waiting for a time, for a better time, when the circumstances would allow us to form another panel.
When you talk about a better time, do you mean a time when the Philippine government is stronger, as it were, when the political environment is not so overheated, shall we say?
In the short term, we are looking at the arrest and or neutralization of the three commanders who have attacked communities. That would be one. Second would be, we would like simmering down of the emotions, and then we would like to go into more dialogues so that and consultations with the people so that it will be better understood.
Thank you very much indeed, General Esperon.
Thank you so much.